Hi friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenna if you're new here, and today I don't have a plan for this video other than to just be a little bit organic and to chat about attending someone else's birth. So you may hear some sounds in the background. That is just my 1-year-old Lucas tearing the house apart while I record this video. So hopefully he's going to let me. I am chasing sunlight, the last little bit of sunlight here. So we will see if we can squeeze in this video. But I had the privilege of attending my sister's home birth last year. Yeah, you want to say hello? I had the privilege of attending. Oh, say hello. Say hi, my name is Lucas. Yeah, my name is Lucas. You were born at home. Did you know that? You will. You won't hear the end of it. Yeah, you were born at home. So I attended my sister's home birth not a year ago, it was last year in May. So not quite a full year ago. I attended the births for both of my nieces. For my first niece, I was really only there for the last 30 minutes or so. This time I was more of a central supportive role, and someone had asked me at some point last year, right after I attended the birth, if I would do a video on attending someone else's birth. Now, I think this style of a video perfectly matches my expertise around it, which is very casual. So I think we'll just have a little casual chat about attending someone else's birth, because I am not a certified birth professional by any means. I have not been to many births. I can only speak from my own experience, having done 2 home births myself. And this isn't just natural birth, of course. This is attending any birth that you are invited to, but I think it can be very important, if it is a natural birth, to take a very supportive role for the mom who has invited you. So first, I would say it's really important to realize how much of a privilege it is to be invited to someone else's birth. They will only trust a handful of people, and even if you're invited to kind of not be in the immediate birth room, but to be around, maybe you're invited to the hospital, it is still such a privilege for a mom to invite you into such a vulnerable state. I would say, especially if you are invited to someone's first birth, have a lot of grace for their experience. So what I mean by that is that a lot of first-time moms will be experiencing this for the first time. Every first-time mom will be experiencing birth for the first time, and they don't realize, at least I didn't as well, realize how much of a intensely vulnerable place birth puts you in. It can be easy, I think, especially for a first-time mom, to underestimate how they're going to feel when they're in that situation. So I would just say give, especially first-time moms, a lot of space and a lot of grace for that experience. Also, communicate, depending on the capacity that you're invited, whether you're like a central support person, whether you're just kind of there in the hospital, not in the immediate room. Ask that woman, ask the birthing lady, what role she would like you to play in the experience. I knew without asking for my sister that I was going to be playing a very central role as a support person for her, just based on who else was there. But it never hurts to ask, to know how central of a role they want you to play, how maybe touchy-feely they might be, because women are very different. One woman will labor completely different from another. One woman may want lots of back rubs or counter pressure or essential oils, and another will be like, personal space, I need personal space. So I think it just depends on the woman, and I do know my sister pretty well, so I was able, I think, hopefully, to read her cues about when she needed me to be there versus to back off. She is more of the kind to really internalize what she is going through, and my sister is an absolute superstar. She ended up having an unmedicated birth of her daughter, who was sunny side up, and that was really, really hard to watch my sister go through, because you could just tell the positioning was not happening well. She wanted to change positions often. She was pushing for a long time. It was just more of a struggle to see my sister go through her second birth than her first, just based off of the positioning of baby. But like an absolute superwoman, she got through it, and it was a privilege to watch. And number 3 would be to read the room. Now, I know that this is very vague and it isn't super concrete, but I think it is one thing to kind of guess what you're going to need when you're in labor ahead of time. And it's another thing to actually be in labor and to be going through it and to maybe change your mind. Laboring moms have reserved the right to change their minds about what they need in birth. And as part of their birth team, we have the responsibility to read that room for them and realize when maybe they might be changing their minds. So maybe they wanted you to be a little bit more present at the start, or they thought that they wanted you to be more involved, but then when the day comes, labor is happening faster than they thought it was, and the best thing you could do for them right now is to watch their other kids, or to kind of take a step back so that their partner can be in that number 1 supportive position for them. I would say don't stay married to what that original commitment or request might have been, but to just be fluid, to read the room, see who is stepping up where and where there's a gap. So if you're someone like a friend, maybe a mom, maybe a sister, or someone who is just in that supportive place, you're not that number 1 slot for them. Maybe their partner and their midwife are going to be slot number 1, slot number 2, their primary support. You're going to be their tertiary support. And so that is how I entered, is I was kind of support number 3. I was that support to be the emotional support. The way I saw it with my sister, because we have a very joking relationship, was to help ease some of the anxiety in the beginning. So I got there and I tried to kind of like bring in our sister talk and our sister banter to hopefully help her get her mind in a lighter place, which I knew would help her feel more comfortable, which would bring on labor. And also that stress and cortisol has no place in the labor room. So I knew that as a tertiary support, I was there to step in if her primary and secondary were not there or available. I was there to provide emotional support and lightness. I would just say, view yourself as the most fluid person in that room. The midwife is going to care about the health of baby and mama. The partner or the baby's dad is most likely going to be there. They're going to be committed to probably a very physical support, like hip squeezes, counter pressure. That thing that like man muscles can really do well is often where I'll see a man in the birth space. You are there to assist both, to take over hip squeezes if he needs to leave the room, to grab things for the midwife that she might need, whether it is taking out different pads for the floor. Obviously, my perspective is very home birth focused. And so in a hospital setting, things are going to be different than the advice that I'm giving now. But I would just say view yourself as the most fluid person in the room. And because of that, you can fill all of the gaps so that the load is lighter on the person who's giving birth. The load is lighter on her support person who is providing that physical counter pressure. And the load is lighter on her medical professional who may just need a physical extra set of hands. So view it as an opportunity to be a gap filler. It is a beautiful thing to witness. You are invited into a very, very sacred space. You know, what happens in the birth room stays in the birth room. That should go without saying, but it takes a certain maturity. Maybe if you haven't given birth yourself, it would take a knowledge that birth is going to be a very intense experience, and it is hard to see someone you love very deeply going through the worst pain of their life. And so you do need to emotionally prepare for that heaviness that you're going to feel, and to intentionally choose to be a light presence, to not add to the heaviness that you are going to be sensing. And so just emotionally prep yourself for that, to be in this space that is very sacred and it is going to be very intense, and know that that's what you're walking into, and know that your role is to bring lightness to it, support. You are not there to help save baby in case of an emergency. You are most likely not going to be the person to advocate for any kind of choice that a mama is going to make. That may be a component of it, it, which that advanced medication may help solve. But that is it. I hope this chatty little video was helpful or interesting. I would love to hear your experiences attending a birth as maybe kind of that third support system, what you ended up doing, how you ended up being helpful, as kind of a call out for myself for this experience. I was on standby all day, kind of texting and seeing how my sister was doing while trying not to be overly in her business because my sister's water broke in advance, and so it was very slow moving for a little while. So I tried to keep the pressure off, but I was continually on standby to say anytime I can come over anytime. It is not a problem at all. I ended up getting there, I think it was around 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. It was right after my boys were fully asleep. I was about to fall asleep myself, and thankfully I was able to go over and to be there for my sister during that time. So I was there, I think, for 4 hours. My niece was born at 3:30 in the morning. The support that I helped was that light conversation. It was to help ask my sister how she was feeling, to provide some very light physical support in terms of, giving her some essential oils if she needed it. And a lot of it, there was 2 times that I went over and I prayed with my sister because labor was very difficult in terms of the position that baby was in. So providing that spiritual support was a really powerful thing that I was able to do as big sis in that moment. And she was a rock star though, like I said, and she got that baby out sunny side up, which is incredible. So that is kind of the supportive position that I did take. I was fluid and I helped the midwives kind of set out supplies, helped with cleanup afterwards just a bit, and made sure that my sister was all set and good to go before I left. I'd love to hear your own story if you have attended a birth as well and how it went. It is such a special experience to be able to be a part of. So thanks for watching this video. I cannot wait to catch you on the next one. Bye, friends.